Hello there. Apparently, we're live. A very good evening. Welcome to the Mythical Ireland Library. I'm Anthony Murphy. This is not Live Irish Myths, nor is it Book Talk, nor is it Live Irish Myths and Conversation. All those things are still in the future and in the past as well. Very good evening to you all. Hope you're keeping well. It is it's a great pleasure to hold this unplanned, impromptu live stream this evening with a special announcement. That is that the revised and expanded edition of Mythical Ireland New Light on the Ancient Past has finally arrived from the printer. Woo! The original plan was, that we would have it in late November. So we're about 2 weeks behind schedule on that. Charlene McLean Cosby says hello. Hello, right back at you. Kathleen Glassley says hello from California. Good afternoon to you. Daisy Peters, hello, and good afternoon to you also. Always a pleasure to see you, and I hope you're well. So anyway, just to make you really mad jealous, I gave the first copy of the book to, you probably saw it if you were on Facebook or Instagram earlier. I was able to present the first copy to Mythical Ireland patron and follower and supporter, Mandy McCurl. Mandy is from Scotland, but she is currently in Ireland. And I got a chance to present it to her in person this evening in Drogheda, which was brilliant. Burr Whelan says hello. Hello. Hi, Anthony, and everyone. Hello, Burr. Hope you are keeping well. Arc Astronomy Database, who's Ty, says hello to everybody. Hello and friends. Yes, indeed. And I suppose you'll be wanting to have a look at it, Oh, yeah. It was very exciting earlier because what happened was, you see, when it arrived in boxes, special delivery. Excuse me. I do apologize. When it arrived, you see, normally what would happen is I would drive to the distributors to collect copies. But on this occasion, the book was being delivered from the printer in Northern Ireland to the distributor in Dublin. And on their way, they dropped some copies off with me, which was brilliant, which means I was, for the first time, the first one to see it, which is fantastic. Robert Brown is in the house. Hello, Robert. There's the lady of the moment. Mandy McCurl, greetings everyone from Drogheda. I mean, did you ever think you'd hear it? Usually it's cold, misty, grey evening in Mull. Not that all your evenings in Mull are like that, but sometimes it seems that way. And so this evening, tonight, Mandy is here in Drogheda. And she's already seen it. Not just seen it, held it in her hand, smelt it, felt those pages, gotten the first decent look at it. Maddie is in New Brunswick in Canada. Really enjoyed last week's episode, and I'm excited for this one. Well, this is more of an impromptu sort of live stream just about the book. But don't worry, because we do weekly live streams, Live Irish Myths, on Monday evenings. And next Tuesday evening, we're having another in the... oh, excuse me, I'm terribly sorry. I think it's got something to do with the fact that last night I was out on the tear with a few mad people in Drogheda. Long time since that has happened. But so Maddie, yeah, tune in on Monday, and then on Tuesday, if you go to the Facebook page, or I see you're on YouTube, if you go to the Mythical Ireland Facebook page or Instagram, you'll see that on Tuesday there's a conversation episode on Zoom. And we'll be talking to Andy Oppenheimer, who is the author of a new book on Orion, which is called Stars of Orion. No, hang on, Andy. We're not letting you steal the thunder tonight. Hang on now. Tuesday is your night. But anyway, you have to be registered for that. So get yourself registered. Family came to Canada from Ballyquin in 1823. Wow. And it's funny. I mean, it is a long time ago, but at the same time, it's not that long ago, but a lot has changed in that time. Anyway, enough of the waffling, says you, and get on with the show. So this is what Mythical Ireland, New Light on the Ancient Past, was published in 2017. And it was reprinted in 2019, I'm delighted to say. This is what it used to look like. I was saying to the patrons, sorry, need to connect my thoughts here. So earlier, when the books arrived, I did an unboxing for the patrons. So the moment I first saw the book was the moment the patrons first saw the book. So you want to see that? Become a patron at patreon.com/Mythical Ireland. And you get lots of sort of goodies and exclusives like those. Anyway, so this is what it used to look like with that beautiful cover consisting of one big image of Newgrange on the front cover and Dagda's Mound on the back cover in the twilight. And I mean, I love that, don't get me wrong. But because we were expanding and revising, after much discussion earlier in the year with my publisher, Liffey Press, we decided that we would completely change it for the revised expanded edition so that you would immediately recognize it, as in the typography is still the same, but the look of it is completely different. Anyway, I'll show you that now in a moment, just before. John McHugh is in the house. Hello, John. John, do you need me to speak softly? Right, will I keep it down, will I? Everybody, just go gently with John. Will I explain what that's about, or will I? No, I won't embarrass you. Federica will embarrass you? What? Not at all. Federica Guy is in the house. Hello, Federica, one of the other two that I've had the opportunity to meet in recent times. Brilliant stuff. Who am I missing? Aka Boy, aka Boy Racer. Traveling to Mayo this weekend. Any good ancient sites you recommend to visit? If I was going to Mayo, although probably not this time of year, I'd like to see the Boha Stone, which is the one where when you're standing at it, you see the sun rolling down Croagh Patrick a couple of times a year. Sorry, John. You can actually lower the volume on your side. Sorry. Okay, I should explain. John McHugh and Mandy McCurl and myself and my good wife and John's sister were in Drogheda last night having a great conversation and a shkupla, as they say in this part of the world, a couple of drinks. And we had a brilliant night, an absolutely brilliant night. Barbara Murphy, what a nice surprise. Yes, indeed. You're very welcome, Barbara, as I always say. Great pleasure to welcome another Murphy into the house. Anyway, this is it. Mr. Marmello, go. I'm upping my Patreon. Thank you so much. That is a great delight. So, Mariana Dunn loves the cover. And of course, Mariana, you might have seen it earlier. I should also say that all of the pre-orders, bar 7, were posted this evening. And the reason the 7 weren't is because the labels got left on the printer and weren't affixed to envelopes. So the last 7 pre-orders will go in the morning. But pretty much everybody who's pre-ordered, it's on its way. Anyway, this is it. Ta-da! The new revised, and see where it says revised and expanded edition. See that? Revised and expanded. You know what that means? It means it's got more stuff in it. Anyway, so again, one image filling the cover from front to back. That is one single image taken in the passage of Newgrange on the morning of winter solstice a few years ago. And I was explaining this previously when we were talking about the new look, when I first revealed the design of the cover. I really like, part of the reason that I think this works so well is because, well, the previous view was we're looking at it from the outside and it's this mysterious thing. Now we're looking at it from the inside, and throughout the entire pandemic since March 2020, there have been no visitors inside the passage and the chamber of Newgrange. So people are still visiting Newgrange. It was actually completely closed for a while last year during certain lockdowns, but nobody bar the staff can go in here now, and I'm not even sure if the staff do go in there. They might just go in to check it, one person with a mask on or whatever. But no public have been in there, no members of the public. And I just thought it was nice, first of all, to reflect that the fact that the monument has had a bit of time to itself, as it were, as if it was a living, breathing thing. And some of you are getting very straight faced now, going, "You mean you don't think it's a living, breathing thing, Anthony?" No, I mean, I'm open to all possibilities. Um, and the other thing is that there is a sense of emerging from the darkness towards the light, and the hope that brings, that, it's emerge from this pandemic and, hopefully, live a better life, and, enjoy ourselves a bit more or what have you, Anyway, the new edition, what's the difference, you might ask? What is the difference apart from the cover design? Well, the difference is that this one has 20,000 words of additional material over this one. And we didn't remove anything out of this one. So you're getting more, basically, in the sort of same kind of space, because the typography was reduced in size to accommodate the new material. So the original publication runs to 333 pages, 333, all the threes, and the new one runs to 340. So you might say 7 pages of additional. No, but the typography makes a huge difference. So the book is full of mostly with one or two exceptions, my color photography, and I hope that makes it even more enjoyable. And of course, what it means is, that if you get completely bored with the text, you can just browse the pictures, But there you are. And so I want to say that if you're interested in obtaining a signed copy, signed by the author, the best place to do that is on the website mythicalireland.com. And where you find it is on the website mythicalireland.com. If you're on a computer, you'll see the menu across the top. If you're on a phone or a smartphone, or a smaller device, it'll be the drop down menu, the little square with the lines in it. That means a menu. Hang on, can I show you? Yeah, so long as no embarrassing slag off messages arrive on my phone from my family while I'm doing this. MythicalIreland.com. Yeah, so see that icon there, and that drops down, and you go into gallery and shop. Oh, focus isn't working, sorry. Gallery and shop. See that? But you'll see that if you're on a computer, gallery and shop. And in that drop down, you'll see books, and you go into books and you'll see it in there. So that's how you order yourself a copy. Sorry, I need to say hello to a few more people. Patricia Healy-Sullivan from teeth-freezing Vermont. Well, after Storm Barra, which raged for 2 full days here, I'm glad to say that the wind is a lot calmer this evening. After presenting her with her copy of Mythical Ireland, I myself and Mandy McCurl went over to the bank of the River Boyne, where I was pointing out where the locations of the log boats. And there was a lovely sort of nearly half moon, sort of wide crescent, waxing moon hanging over the scene, which was lovely. So it's milder here today, thankfully. Not teeth freezing, teeth chatteringly cold. AKA Boy Racer says, best of luck with the revised book. Thank you very much. Cy B is in the house. Hello, Cy. Nice. Glad you like it. AKA Boy Racer thinks it's an amazing cover. Brilliant. And I did say it before, I've been extraordinarily lucky to have been inside Newgrange and to have taken, a number of photographs over the years. I feel very privileged to have been able to do that, Yes, I wonder whether the ladies would share the pictures from last night. We'll talk about that later. Sandra Boothroyd. Oh, yes, brilliant. Glad you like it, Sandra. Brilliant. Yeah, if you're in Mayo, Joan has a good point, and that is if you're in Mayo, head on up into Sligo too. I mean, go to Carrowkeel, and Keshcorran and Carramore and Queen Maeve's tomb. Sylve is in the house. Oh, great stuff. Blessings this night to everyone. Banachtaí go gach dinne as lar goifer co hiron. And Sylve is in Tyrone. And I hope that you are seeing the stars tonight. I haven't seen them for a few nights. Interesting question. Would you ever consider a full limited edition of all your books as a set? Very interesting question. I mean, yes, I would. I would. I'm not sure how that would work. I'd love to publish. I'd love to. Yeah. See, there. I mean, the non-fiction books, the Liffey Press books, Island of the Setting Sun, Newgrange Monument to Immortality, Dronehenge, and Mythical Ireland are all the same size. They're all the same dimensions. But then you have the likes of Return to Segish, which is smaller. You have The Cry of the Sebek, which is actually, believe it or not, based on the same page size, but because Return to Segish has a hardback cover, it's slightly bigger in dimensions in terms of, And then you have the likes of the monographs, which are, again, a different size, So kind of hard to know. I'd love to. I mean, I would, definitely. Yeah, that'd be interesting. But anyway, the big thing is, book number 10, because I've 9 books published. So what will be number 10? And how will that go in terms of a set, like a box set? Yeah, it'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? Absolutely. Will I read a page from the new material? Let's see if I can find one. Well, first of all, let's do a poll. All those in favour say aye. And all those who think it's absolutely boring, stop talking, Murphy, and shut up, say nay. They be the naysayers. Sure, look, let's... So there's a couple of new chapters in the section on Newgrange. So previously there, that finished with chapter 1.8, which is about the Mata and Lech Ben, the stone on which the monster was killed. So now there's an extra 2 chapters in the Newgrange section. One is 1.9, which is called Éanach Éangusa, the Games Assembly of Newgrange. We had a fascinating discussion about that last night. That is Joan and Mandy and myself. Absolutely riveting discussion, I thought. And chapter 1.10, which is Dua Tresk, exploring the meaning of an obscure name for Newgrange. So I see one eye. I see 2 eyes. I see 3. I see 4. I see 5. I see 6. There you go. I don't see any naysayers. Anyway, I'm giving away some sort of material here, but look, don't worry. I know, because you'll want to have it in print in your hand. I know you will. So if sorry, I'll go back a paragraph. Dagda was vanquished through verbal ambiguity. I need to get it right first. Sorry about that. Take 2. Start again. Dagda was vanquished through verbal ambiguity. Okay, it's live. What can we do? Verbal ambiguity and deception on the part of his young son. And from that time forth, the monument we know today as Newgrange became known as Sheed Machanog, the she or otherworld mound of the young son, Aengus, Dagda was forced to retire to another, smaller mound close to the river. So if Dua Tresk is not the mound of Tresk, as in like a proper name, what might it mean? I went searching for answers in the old folklore Irish dictionaries and Edmund Hogan's Onomasticon Gaelicum. The extremely comprehensive and excellent electronic dictionary of the Irish language gives Tresk, Tresc, as remains, refuse, leavings, lees, i.e., rubbish, which hardly seems appropriate to the story at all. Knowing that Irish words and their spellings change over time, the metrical Dinshanachus was written in Middle Irish, I searched for a close cognate to Tresk. And by the way, this Dua Tresk, which is found in the Dinshanachus, is Dumatresc, which in the Dinshanachus is given as a name for Newgrange, for the monument that we know as Sheed and Broga or She Machanog. Yes, anyway, that's in the chapter, but I'm not reading the whole thing. Onomasticon Gaelicum says, I never know how to say that. I'll say says. Onomasticon Gaelicum says there are several aliases for Dua Tresk in other manuscripts. In the Yellow Book of Lecan, it is rendered Dua Tresk, Treasg, which is interesting because in the O'Donnell folklore, I found Trasker, Treascaior, meaning overthrow, vanquish, knock down. It certainly could be said that Dagda was overthrown or vanquished by his obstreperous young son. Dineen's folklore gives Trashkart as the act of overthrowing. I wondered if this was perhaps the real meaning of Dua Tresk, left untranslated by the scholars. The mound of overthrowing, or the mound of subjugation or subversion, or something similar. We cannot be certain if that is what it means, but it certainly makes sense given the deception and trickery on behalf of Aengus to have his father booted out. There are lots of other interesting words, all similar in meaning, which derive from variants of Trasker, and I give them in that paragraph. It should be remembered that the overthrowing of the owner/occupier of Newgrange is a distinct theme of a number of the early myths pertaining to that monument. Sober up, man. Yeah, the head's a bit delicate from last night. Marmello's telling me I need to grow a beard for a proper bardic reading. Well, I need to get Martin Shaw on here to do a reading. That's what I need. Putting it out there. Any of you know Martin Shaw? I want him and me to have a conversation. Or we could get Davo Grin on. I mean, he's got a beard. And so has Tom King. Anyway, I'm talking about the overthrowing of the owner or occupier of Newgrange, which is a distinct theme in a number of the myths about Newgrange. It is found in various guises in the Gawal in Shida, which is the taking of the Otherworld Mount, in which Dagda is tricked out of custodianship of the brew by the Macog, Aengus, his son. In Tuchmark Etain, the wooing of Etain, in which Aengus takes the brew from Elkmar on the advice of Echu Olahar, the Dagda, his father. In Altran Chia Gavatar, the fosterage of the house of the two methers, or drinking vessels, in which Aengus takes the brew from Elkmar on the advice of Manannán. In Uhartacon's poem, that's Kinage Uhartacon, who wrote one of the poems, the Dinshanachus poems about Brunabonia, in which Midger, on behalf of Aengus, tricks the Dagda out of custodianship of Newgrange. And in the metrical Dinshanachus poem, Brunabonia 2, the author of which seems familiar with the other material, including Tuchmark Etain, in which the Dagda is deprived of the brew by Aengus through deception. Although it is not clear in this last rendering whether Midger advised him on the matter. Dagda is not always the loser. Sometimes his place is taken by Elkmar, but Aengus Og, the Dagda's son, is always the victor. Another alias for Dua Tresk is Dua na Trisht, T-R-I-F-A-S-T, found in the Book of Evain. or it's just we call that the book of the High Mani, isn't it? Tríost, according to the electronic dictionary of the Irish language, means curse, malediction, or misfortune, sorrow. Certainly, the idea of sorrow would be in keeping with the next stanza in the metrical Dinchanicus poem, because the Dagda, cast out of the brew, makes a journey with quote unquote lamentation or quote unquote grumbling to live in a place called Ochun or Ochan, Ochun or Ochan, which itself means a sigh, groan, or lamentation. It was a great joy to learn that the great monument of Newgrange had another name, Dua Thresk, although you'd be hard pressed to find mention of it anywhere outside the covers of dusty old books. And its meaning? The mound of overthrowing. That certainly is in keeping with the mythology about the monument. And that chapter is accompanied by a photo of, you'll be familiar with that photograph, the magic that we had last year when Comet Neowise appeared in the northern skies during the summertime. And I managed to capture some very nice images of it with Newgrange. So there you go. Yeah, that's it. That is that is a page of material from a large number of pages of additional material in the new edition. One of the new editions, also additions of the new edition, is the chapter about Sligo, which features some of the photography. So I hadn't featured Sligo. Actually, Sligo, apart from mentions, doesn't feature comprehensively in any of my books. So I've rectified that now. Finally, there's a place for Sligo. It's not that Sligo didn't have a place. It's just that it's a lot further away, and I don't go there very often. And I need to go there more often. I definitely do. Now let me just see. Oh yes, there is there are. I'm just trying to think. There are 5. Yeah, there's a new chapter in the Douth and Nouth section, which is called, and the patrons I think will be familiar with this one. Was Douth a crematorium? Or did I release that publicly? I can't remember. I can't remember. I apologize. I apologize. Yes, Joan. I just keep that in my mind for a moment. Shlívna Kalia, that was comprehensive in the previous edition. There's another new chapter in the Megaliths and Monuments section called The Mysterious Mound Beneath Millmount. And Millmount, as you probably know, because I talk about it quite a lot, and it's pictured in the 2022 calendar. Sure, I'll have to show you. Sure, I couldn't get away without showing you, could I? Let me just have a look here. There we go. Well, that's the Martello Tower of Millmount. But of course, the mound that it sits on has long been assumed to be a prehistoric burial mound. But the mythology about it is interesting, because not only is Amergin of the Milesians supposed to be buried there, but also the suggestion is that it was the burial place of an ancient deity, a female deity, the wife of the Gubon. And there are a couple of images of Millmount from that chapter. Yeah, so that's fascinating. I hope you think so. I hope you agree. I'm just trying to find the rest of the new material. Yes. There are 4 new chapters in the Meaning of Myth section. 4. So we had All the Dead Kings Came to Me. We had that's 6.1. 6.2, Kissing the Cailleach, the Sovereignty Dream of Ireland. 6.3, Killing the Evil Eye. Of course, these were all in the first edition. 6.4, The Dawning of the Day. 6.5, Awaiting My Salvation in Fiach's Pool Beneath Rosnaree. 6.6, The Synchronicity of the Swans. 6.7, Rekindling the Powerful Image of the Druid Elkmar. So the new chapters are 6.8, Scribes and Kings, Religion, Politics, and the Medieval Manuscripts of Ireland. And that was based around a live stream and a very comprehensive long read blog post, which actually provoked a huge amount of discussion and still does provoke a lot of discussion. Just how close were the monks who wrote the myths to the kings of medieval Ireland? It's fascinating stuff. The next one is called 6.9, The First Kings of Tara in Irish Mythology. And I've just spotted, it's amazing. Oh, always, always, always. You proofread and proofread and proofread and proofread and proofread. You know, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you found everything, and then you do a live stream and you find a spelling mistake in the look, the first Knigs of Tara. That should be kings. The first Knigs of Tara. Oh my goodness me. We're all human, every one of us. The first kings of Tara in Irish mythology. 6.10 is Sheila, the wife of St. Patrick, which is, I hope you find provoking anyway, interesting. And 6.11, 6.11, The Partition of Ireland, a mythic and historic reality. What's that about? Well, I'm not going to tell you. You have to get yourself a copy. And then in the cosmology section, there is one new chapter which is called What Did Equinox Mean to a Neolithic Astronomer? Anyway, that's the new edition of Mythical Ireland. There are other things to be spoken about. Joan reminds me, and it's a very good reminder that if you're not on Facebook, which you might not be, and especially if you're watching on YouTube, I am giving a talk about the goddess Bowen, and Bowen or Boan, if you prefer, and her connection with the Newgrange monument. That talk is being given on the winter solstice, on the 21st of December. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the link here. At 7 p.m. Irish time. That is 2 p.m. if you're in New York Eastern time, 11 a.m. if you're in Los Angeles Pacific time. I'm just going to share the link here. I'm just trying to find, where is the live stream? I see if I, oh yeah, I can comment on that. So I'm going to comment. Oh, it's not letting me do that. Hang on. Sorry. Give me one moment, please. So that's just commenting there on Facebook. And I will now also share that as a comment on the YouTube live stream. I will as soon as I can get it to. I will as soon as I can get it to. Who's that Gombeen? Who's the fellow with the glasses? Anyway, I apologize for the interruption to service. So that's shared there now, John. There was a limit on places, and those 100 places were booked up very quickly, and the limit has been increased now to 200. So if you want, now it's a free event. It's on Zoom. It's just a talk with some PowerPoint slides and mostly photographs. And it should last around an hour. And I will be very, very happy to take questions at the end of it. So it's free to attend, but you absolutely must register. You won't be able to attend unless you register. So it's Louth. The event is being held in conjunction with Louth Library Service. You may remember that earlier this year, I was an Ireland Reads ambassador for Louth Library Service, and I also gave a talk in conjunction with Louth Library Service on the summer solstice, which is all about the astronomy of Brunabonia. So I'm getting a little bit more specific this time, and I'm going to talk about Bowen. If you were interested, the material of that talk is going to be largely based around my monograph about Bowen, which was published just a few months ago. So again, you can get copies of that on the Mythical Ireland website. That's mythicalireland.com. And again, go into the menu, the drop-down menu, gallery and shop, and find books. And yes, I do appreciate that, you know, not everybody is able to make these live events. And all of my live events, unless I say otherwise, all my live events, for instance, this is being recorded right now and will be on YouTube immediately after we finish, and on Facebook. The event on the solstice, the Bowen lecture or talk, it's not, I don't lecture, that's not a very good word in my opinion. The Bowen presentation or talk, as it were, will be recorded on Zoom. Next Monday, we continue the regular Live Irish Myths series with episode, I think it's episode 163, if not 164. I think it's 163. Yes, the last one was 162. And we're going to plow on with James Stephens because everybody's been fabulously enjoying his work. On Tuesday, I'm going to be hosting... I'm returning to a series that we ran last winter, which was called Live Irish Myths in Conversation, in which we brought on a guest. We had the likes of Eddie Lenihan, we had Professor J.P. Mallory, we had Moncon McGann, we had Geraldine Stout, we had Dolores Whelan, we had John Creedon. I think we did 12 episodes in total, and I think there were a couple of bonus episodes as well. I think John Creedon was one of the bonus episodes. Anyway, we're returning to that series. On Tuesday, I'll be interviewing Andy Oppenheimer about the new book, Stars of Orion, and not entirely just about Orion. I contributed a chapter to this book, by the way, but also Andy's own life story sounds very interesting. So the link for that is also on Facebook and on Instagram. I could share that. Is that easy or difficult to do? I have to find it first. Give me one moment. Zoom. If I log into me Zoom. Upcoming. Yeah, Live Irish Myths in Conversation, episode 13. And Winter Solstice Talk, that will be held on Zoom as well. Let me just share the registration link for the Orion interview. Let me just do that right now. Apologies again for the messing. So that's there on Facebook now and on YouTube. I hope you can see those. So please do register. Again, it's a free event. Doesn't cost anything to take part, but you have to be registered. You cannot participate if you're not registered. And just for those of you who don't generally use the Zoom platform, when you register, what happens is you'll be sent an email from Zoom with the link. So you have to provide an email address and you'll be sent the link to the Zoom meeting, which you click on the night of the meeting or at the day and time of the meeting to participate. And you just come in. Everybody will be muted, but at the end of the meeting for about 5 minutes, we'll take questions and people can unmute and ask questions live if they want. I promise you that'll be very interesting because the story of Bowen, and this is one of the things that I tried to get across in the monograph, is that Bowen has largely been forgotten about in all of the talk about Brunibonia. To the extent that her only claim to fame is that she's the wife or concubine, she's the concubine of, she was married to Elkmar and she had an affair with the Dagda, and this is her claim to fame, that she was the mother of Angus. It's almost, and of course she went to the well and the well overwhelmed her and she drowned and all the rest. And it seems that the greater import of her story has been forgotten, and I'm trying to re-establish her importance, and I think you'll find it very interesting. Sean Matthews' song Boan is amazing, and I would recommend listening to it, says Liam. Can that be found on YouTube or maybe something like Spotify? Liam, if you want to share a link, please do, by all means. Looking forward, says Silv, brilliant stuff, to the chat next Tuesday. I'm delighted also to mention, I had previously announced to patrons that I will be speaking on Live Irish Myths in Conversation with Dr. Jenny Butler, a very well-known folklorist and specialist in paganism. And she's going to be my guest on the 5th of January. Forgive me if I don't immediately know what day that is. I think it's a Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday, the 5th of January. Now, I haven't put out the link for that one yet, and that's because I don't generally put out 2 conversation links, because what happens is one can get cannibalized by the other. So I want to give Andy and the Orion conversation space to breathe, as it were, and to get as many people along for that one as possible. And don't forget that we'll also be taking questions on that one. I mean, if you're like me, any of you, most people, even if you're not into astronomy, you'll be familiar with the constellation Orion. and it had a very, very significant effect on me as a young astronomer, which is something that I'm trying to recount in another book that I'm writing. Not the current one that I'm writing, but one that I was writing last year, and I wrote 70,000 words of it, and then I stopped, and I haven't gone back to it. But that's more about astronomy, and yeah, Orion is. I mean, you know, the probably the best known of all the constellations. Really, let's face it. Every tradition. I mean, you could put the Pleiades in there. You could put maybe Sirius in there. You know, for southern hemispherers, you could put Crux in there. For northern hemispherers, you could put the Plough. But I don't think anything really matches Orion, does it? You know, in terms of certainly in terms of brilliance and in terms of the amount of stories that it has, uh, you know, that it has spurred. You know that there are so many cultures who had so many different sort of views. I suppose that's the same of all constellations, but it's just that Orion is particularly illustrious. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? There's the two live conversations, there's the winter solstice, and there's the regular live streams. Is there anything else? Yeah, but just to mention that, don't forget that I still have copies of the 2022 calendar, and they can also be acquired on the website on mythicalireland.com. Same drop down menu, gallery and shop, except for instead of going into books, go into calendar, and that features again 13 plus all the bonus ones on the back, but 13 large images of monuments, which I think you will greatly enjoy. Plus all of the important dates, such as the cross quarter dates, the solstices, the equinoxes, meteor showers, full moons, new moons, and the likes of the maximum elongations of Venus and Mercury. In other words, those days upon which it would be easier to see them. Any questions? Oh, quiz. Oh, Joan, you're right. You're so right, and I still haven't. I really do. Do you know what I'm going to do? Over Christmas, when I get a break, a bit of a break from work, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to put, 100 questions together. I'm going to try anyway. And we're going to have a quiz. We're going to have the Zoom quiz, and people are going to be able to, I don't know, form teams or whatever. We'll work some way out, but it can't happen until I put the questions together. The questions will all be based around, Mythical Ireland themes, and the monuments, the myths, the books, etc. Some astronomy. I won't make it too hard, but there will be a few. There'll be one. I imagine this is the way I'd like to do it. There'll be one sort of real stickler of a question in each round where you'd be going, "Oh, I remember he said this on a live stream. Oh, what was the name?" But no googling. Anyway, yeah, we're 12 days away from solstice. Don't forget that for 3 days this year, there will be a live stream, as there was last year, from Newgrange, because the monument is closed. The interior of the monument is closed to the public. There will be a live stream. I presume it's the same as last year, where they have cameras inside the monument showing you as the light progresses in on the morning of the 20th and the 21st and the 22nd. I believe that's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check that. Yes, Monday the 20th, Tuesday the 21st, Wednesday 22nd. Now, the live stream, the sunrise is at around 9 a.m. Irish time. Regrettably, if you're in the eastern United States, that is 4 a.m. for you. Now, I think it starts probably, is it 8 a.m. it starts, or is it 8:30? Does it run 8:30 to 9:30? I just can't specifically remember. I will also share, don't worry, the website is opw.ie /Newgrange, I think. It's not working at the moment, and it was the same last year. It's not ready to work until basically the live stream is ready to start. But don't worry, much closer to the time, I will share it. So keep an eye out for that. And of course, follow the Newgrange and Nouth Facebook page, because they're posting about it regularly as well. But I will share as much as I can about that. Everybody seemed to enjoy that last year. It gave a great opportunity for people from around the world to see what happens on the solstice, something that only a small amount of people each year get to see. And on years where the weather doesn't play ball, that amount of people who actually see something is even smaller again. People travel from around the world as winners of the winter solstice lottery, and that hasn't happened, the draw, for the last two winters, because of course we're in the middle of a pandemic, and they do not want to gather people tightly together in a enclosed stone chamber with no ventilation in the middle of a pandemic, as you might understand. Revision starts in the morning, says Joan. Bit of a head on me tonight. I wonder why that is. Well, all I can say is it's a while since myself and herself had a night out, and it's a while since we had so much fun on a night out. So a memorable night was had by all. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I am cognizant of the fact that if you order a calendar, or you order Mythical Ireland, or any of the other books or photographs, it is possible, if you're in further away parts, that you may not get it for Christmas. I think we're getting close to the date upon which there's kind of no guarantee. However, having said that, in recent weeks, items dispatched here from the Mythical Ireland Library have been arriving in the United States in 6 days, which is pretty good, because last year it was taking like 10 to 14 days. So I think there are more planes flying this year. I think that's what it is. Anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget, as always, if you have any questions, please email Mythical Ireland, all one word, at gmail.com. Or if you want, you can send me a message on the Mythical Ireland Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Mythical Ireland. One thing I ask you not to do is not to send me a question to my personal Facebook profile. I don't like mixing business and pleasure, as it were. And message requests, I don't usually check once in a blue moon. So if you're not a friend of mine on Facebook and you send me a message, I mightn't see it for a long time. So the very best way, and the way I encourage everybody to try and reach out, is email. Because I don't know, there's something old-fashioned about it. It's the closest thing we have in the modern technological electronic world to writing each other a letter. And I still sometimes do that with me typewriter. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget that the main reason for tonight's live stream is Mythical Ireland: New Light on the Ancient Past, revised and expanded edition, which is now available for worldwide dispatch. Signed copies if you order. I will sign them personally if you order them through the mythicalireland.com website. And with just a note to say, apologies for the delay. That, as I said earlier, we were expecting to have the books in late November, and they're about 2 weeks behind schedule, and that was completely out of our hands. So apologize about that. Thank you, Anne-Marie Houston. Brilliant. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope that it hangs on the wall. Pride of place. And take it easy, everyone. We'll see you. I think the next one is Monday, isn't it? The next live stream is Monday. And don't forget, we have Tuesday as well with Andy Oppenheimer. So it'll be a busy time. Solstice season, as it were, is always a busy time. Quite brilliantly, in 2 weeks' time from now, technically speaking, the days should be getting longer again. But as Ty, who's Archaeoastronomy Database, and several others of you know, that is not exactly the case, and it takes a while for you to notice the difference, Terry McGeary just arrived late. Not to worry, Terry, because as I was saying just a few minutes ago, this is recorded, so it will be available in its entirety on the Facebook page, Mythical Ireland Facebook page, and on the YouTube channel. Basically, as soon as the live stream stops, it's generally, the video is available to rewatch within a couple of minutes. Brilliant. Sylv, thank you very much. Banachty, Tusa Féin, O Gundaloo, O Drihadaha, and take it easy. Toga Bugay, Sound Sleep and all that. Kolosov, Ichawa, Mochaja Galera, Fudon Down. And what was the other one? Toga Bugay. I forget now. There's 4. Ichawa, Kolosov, Toga Bugay. So, yeah. How could I forget? Slán go fóill. Bye for now.